Dharnishri ma'am, you can make Prabhu, she will start the recording. Just 2 minutes. I've just made a response.
We'll start with a very short Hare Krishna Kirtan and then we proceed. 1 second. Are all of you able to view my screen, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have made you host and then live also I have done, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. 1 second. Any devotee wants to chant Kirtan?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes, Prema Priya Jayashree.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. All right.
Hare
Krishna.
Prabhu, some of them have not completed, they have not uploaded. I have requested everyone to join the class and ask queries after the class. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, fine.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all Prabhujis, Matajis for joining. Shall we close all breakout rooms, Mataji? Ragini Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, please close all the breakout room. I had already requested them to join, but please close it from your end.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudiraye नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all the Prabhujis, Matajis in this morning's discussion on Bhakti Vaibhav. We are continuing with chapter 5, which is Narada's conversation with Srila Vyasadeva. Also wish you all a very happy Safala Ekadashi. It's a very, very special day today to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. So to have a quick recap of what we discussed last time, we see that Srila Vyasadeva, he is despondent, and by the grace of the Supreme Lord, Srila Narada Muni has appeared, and he smiles at his disciples, knowing the root cause of his despondency. And then Srila Vyasadeva very humbly submits himself to his spiritual master, showing us by his own example, despite being an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, how we should be submissive to Lord Krishna's representatives. Only then knowledge will flow. And we see that first, Srila Narada Muni, in a loving way, is chastising Vyasadeva and then gradually beginning his assessment of where the gap is. And in his chastisement, just like we compared Lord Krishna's beginning of responding to Arjuna's despondency versus Narada Muni's responding to Srila Vyasadeva's despondency. Narada Muni first smiled seeing Srila Vyasadeva, and then he also reminded Srila Vyasadeva of his great lineage coming directly from Parashar Muni. And how is it possible for a person coming in such a great lineage who has contributed so much to composing the Vedic literature to still not have satisfaction of the heart? And then Vyasadeva is submitting himself that although whatever you have mentioned about me, my qualifications, my great lineage is true, but I am still not pacified. And he's requesting Narad Muni to explain the root cause, where is the gap. And then specifically, Srila Vyasadeva glorifies Narad Muni's own qualification, Patrata, being a Trikalagya. And why he is a Trikalagya? Because he is constantly devoted to Bhavan Veda Samasta Guhya. He has understood all the Guhya, all the mysteries of the Vedic knowledge because of his Upasito Yat Purusha Purana, because of his constantly being devoted to and worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna. Paravaresho manasaiva vishvam srujattavatyati gunai rasanga. So as a result, he is fully qualified to assess Srila Vyasadeva's despondency. And he is also glorifying Narada Muni by saying, Tvam paryatan arka iva triloki, that Narad Muni has got visa for all the three worlds, the lower, upper, and the middle planetary systems, and even spiritual world beyond this cosmic manifestation. He is free to go everywhere. And three entities, Srila Vyasadeva compares Narad Muni with, he compares Narad Muni with Vayu, the air. He compares Narad Muni with the sun, and he compares Narad Muni with the super soul. So just like the sun can go everywhere, its rays can go reach everywhere, the wind or the air can reach everywhere, and the super soul is also situated everywhere in the living as well as in the non-living things. And as a result, because he is able to reach everywhere, he knows the what is happening around the world, the mentality of the living entities in this cosmic manifestation, what is their root cause of degraded condition, and what needs to be done for truly performing the welfare of such conditioned souls. Because ultimately, all these activities that Vyasadeva has been doing, composing of the Vedic literature, it is finally meant to uplift the degraded condition of the people. As there will be a very particular word which will be used in subsequent verses, which we'll discuss today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. So Janataga Viplavo, that is the specific word which we'll be looking at. Janataga Viplavo means how to really get the fallen conditioned people in this world out of their fallen nature. So that is the common goal both of Srila Vyasadeva and his spiritual master Narada Muni. So because despite trying his level best, he is still not able to feel the contentment to achieve that, Narad Muni's help is being sought. Paravare Brahmati Dharmato Vrataye. And Vyasadeva is explaining his own qualification that he knows both. Avare Brahmani means the Vedic literature which deal mainly with the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And he knows of the principles of literature which are para, which are beyond these Vedic scriptures. So whatever he knows is sufficient to compose for the welfare of all the people. Then what has fallen short? That is his question. And then Narad Muni begins his response, and he specifically mentions that Bhavata Anudita Prayam, that while Bhavata Anudita has been done to an extent by Vyasadeva in various Puranas and Upanishads. However, that has not been done in Prayam in the sufficient manner. So that word we can see here in the translation. Anudita Prayam, that he says that this devotional service to the Supreme Lord, it has almost not been praised. Almost not, because it becomes completely overshadowed by the four Purusharthas, and we saw the limitation with these four Purusharthas, that they can perpetually keep the conditioned living entities bound to this material world. And somehow the person who may never come to devotional service, the process is very slow and very risky. Bhava Anudita Prayam Yasho Bhagavato Amalam, that these glories of the Supreme Lord, Transcendental Lord, pure devotional service, have not been glorified to sufficient degree. And he mentions that whatever you have glorified or mentioned, I consider that particular matter which is not sufficiently glorifying the pure devotional service as Tad Darshanam Akhilam. That means it is inferior according to Narad Muni's. It is worthless according to Narad Muni's assessment, whatever Srila Vyasadeva has composed, because it has not exclusively glorified the pure devotional service. And we also discussed about this particular word, Anuvarnitaha. Anuvarnitaha means repeated glorification. so that the point is not missed by the common man. It becomes very prominently. Vasudevasya mahima hi anuvarnitaha. You have not done sufficient repeated glorification, constant glorification of the pure devotional service, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So that is missing. And last verse we discussed last time, that Narad Muni compares the material literature, how much ever poetically it may be composed. He uses the word Chitrapadam. Chitrapadam means the language is very flowery, very decorative, very attractive to the common man. But what is it lacking? It is lacking Harer Yasha. Then he considers it just like the pilgrimage, place of pilgrimage for the crows. And this is where we have concluded our discussion. Any devotees have any noted. So any devotees have any specific comments, questions on this particular topic so far? Hare Krishna, before we proceed.
Prabhu, this sloka alone, if it's okay, can you repeat one time? This
Sure.
alone. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Na yat vachas chitrapadam harer yasho jagat pavitram pragraniti karhichit. Tat vayasam tirtham ushanti manasa na yatra hamsa niramanti ushikshayah. That this particular literature, my dear Vyasadeva, whatever you have composed, and of course he is basically not yet pointing out to Vyasadev's writing. It will come in the subsequent verse. He is specifically pointing out to materialistic literature, which is very poetically composed, which is very decorative, Chitrapadam, but which is lacking Harer Yasha, glorification of the Supreme Lord. It is not able to sanctify the world. Only the literatures which are glorifying about the Supreme Lord are able to sanctify the whole contaminated atmosphere of the world. But such materialistic literature, it only attracts those people who have crow-like mentality. And we had discussed that how crow gets attracted naturally to the garbage. If you place a crow in a beautiful garden, it will go around and round, and it will exactly find a place where there is a dustbin or where there is a trash bin, so that it can try to find something of interest to him. Oh, the whole beautiful garden won't interest a crow. Similarly, the crow mentality, like people who get attracted to Bhoga and Aishwarya, they would definitely get attracted to such literatures, and not the all perfect devotees like Hamsa, who always they like to live in a very clean waters. They would never take pleasure in a garbage place. So we proceed, and this point will be further explained. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we go to text 11, and last time I didn't want to rush through this text because it's very, very important. Text 11, where Narad Muni compares such Chitrapadam literature, such literatures composed in a very decorative, poetic manner, versus the literatures of devotional service, which apparently may have some grammatical fault. And I am saying some grammatical fault. Narad Muni is not saying some. He is saying pratishlokam. We will see this word when we go through. Pratishlokam means, he says, each stanza, let it be poetically incorrect. Let it have grammatical mistakes. Still, that literature stands much supreme in terms of its attractiveness and test for the all perfect persons. So let's recite this verse first. 1, 5, 11. I have not seen the list of verses for memorization for this particular chapter, chapter 5. However, this verse is very important. So irrespective of whether it is part of memorization or not part, all of us, we can try to note it down. And it's very inspiring for all of us.
It is there, Prabhu. 10 and 11 is there for memorization.
Is there?
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Okay. So let's try to recite this verse. Any devotee would like to recite through? Hare Krishna. Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji Jagadananda Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Tadvagvasirgo janata viplavo
Tadvat visargo
विप्लवो
viplavo.
यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अबद्धवति अपि
Yasmin pratishlokam abhavatyapi.
नामानि अनन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत्
Namani anantasya shonkitani yat.
शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः
Thank you, Mataji. Tadvat visargo janataga viplavo. Now Narad Muni is glorifying that particular literature which is meant for janataga viplavo, for the revolution of all such people who have fallen into the sinful life. It can cause revolution in such people. What type of literature? Where even if it is in grammatically speaking, poetically speaking, there are some mistakes in the composition. Yasmin pratishlokam, each and every verse, each and every stanza in that particular literature may be abhaddhavatyapi. The composition may be faulty from the material point of view. However, what is special with that literature? Namani anantasya yasho ankitani yat. That it glorifies the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Ananta, of the Supreme Lord. Such type of literatures are heard, they are sung, and they are relished by the sadhava, by the all perfect men. So we'll go through the translation. Ishwari Priya Mataji, you want to go through the translation?
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we go through the details of the purport, which is a bit long but very important, so we'll have few points to go through. I had also planned a group activity to collate the points from Srila Vyasadev's own assessment so far, and what was the exact points which Narad Muni has also pointed based on Vyasadev's self-assessment. So just give me 1 minute. Yeah, so we'll have this a quick one. Maybe we'll take around 5 minutes for different groups to go through these particular set of verses, which we quickly recap before the start of today's discussion. From text 4 onwards, Vyasadev starts speaking to Narada Muni. So maybe you can refer to that and list out whatever specific items have been mentioned. Like sometimes for us, everything might seem as only one assessment, that he has not sufficiently glorified the Supreme Lord. But there are other points that have mentioned related to this particular conclusion, both by Vyasadeva himself and by Narada Muni as well. So is the task clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so the outcome of this discussion should be what all principles we can draw from Srila Vyasadev's own dissatisfaction for all of us, how we should take lessons from this, and the findings of this particular Vyasadev's dissatisfaction, how we can apply in our own life or we can use for preaching purpose. And maybe we'll have a minute or two of points presentation by the point-wise presentation by each group. So please don't take too long, mainly because we have more or less covered the background, but it is just for devotees to get a chance to quickly scan through the purports and come up with the salient points. Okay, so let me make the breakout rooms. 1 second. So we will make around 4 breakout rooms, but everybody please do try to scan through these purports and contribute actively to the discussion. Hare Krishna. 1 second. Delete. So I'm making around 4 or maybe 3 breakout rooms, okay? And 1 or 2 devotees can be nominated from each group to present the conclusions of Vasudev's dissatisfaction, which we can apply in our own life. Hare Krishna. Don't take more than 5 minutes, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Do I need to copy paste this on the chat? This is clear, right, Prabhuji's? Hare Krishna.
Please put in the chat.
Okay, fine. Just give me 1 minute. Oops. Okay, so let's start. Oops. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So from group 1, who will be the devotee or devotees to present a point or two from your discussion? What can we take for our own personal application from Srila Vyasadev's case study? So I think Ratnangini Mataji, Hare Krishna, Ratna Gosai Mataji, you want
Hare
to
Krishna.
unmute?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Prabhu, we have discussed the dissatisfaction of Vyasadeva is because that he couldn't complete the Vedanta Sutra, the compilation to his satisfaction. That is one. Though he has described about the Lord, but the main focus was not on describing the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. So, and second point, what the group discussed is the more focus is on the Purusha avatars.
Purusharthas.
Sorry.
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha.
So, one that is one thing, Prabhu. And finally, as per this Sloka 9, one should be in a stage of a Brahmabhuta to understand, to get the satisfaction about the service of the Lord. So Narad Muni instruct Vyasadeva to write the compilations so that he'll get satisfaction of doing service towards the Lord. And on personal level application is that whatever the service we are doing, it should be oriented towards Lord Krishna. I think the other group also wanted to add to this. I think Vipin Vilas Prabhuji, Dharaneshwari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Actually, instead of this bodily consciousness, we should more focus on the soul actually. So, and we have to try to please the Lord actually by the pure devotional service instead of meditation or yoga, different types of so many other activities. We have to more focus on the pure devotional service.
Thank you. So this is very important point. While the other branches of knowledge may be required for certain purposes in our life, the focus should always be on devotional service and we should not miss it. Any other point? Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, you want to add?
I told that for this Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na Soshati na Kamshati Samasarveshu. So that Mat Bhaktim Lavate Param. That means a pure devotional service you will be able to render actually. You will attain that platform. So one has to perform a pure devotional service. That is a devotional service. That is very, very important actually.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Who we have from group 2 who wants to present?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ananda Pradana Mataji will present.
Ananda Pradana Mataji. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Because that, the Vyasadeva identified that he was not focusing on the self-realization. Instead, he was identifying for just the body and soul and all that. And but he was able to identify his own shortcomings. And but he was not describing the path of the devotional service. The group discussed that also. And for what we can do it for us, that we need to identify our shortcomings and then, and willing to correct those shortcomings from the guidance from the senior devotees and from the guidance from the spiritual master. So that is also important. And another thing I just saw that Here they have two kinds of literature. We should also focus on the transcendental literatures so we can get the good ideas rather than focusing on the materialistic literatures.
Thank you. Thank you, Ananda Prada Mataji, and all the devotees in group 2. Who do we have from group 3 to present? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sadatushta Prabhuji. 1 second.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu. Now it's starting with the bodily concept, as Vipin Vilas Prabhu correctly said. We need to rise to our constitutional position of being the soul and part and parcel of Krishna and engaging in devotional service. So that is one important thing. And second important thing which is coming out of it is, for our personal application also, even though Srila Vyasadeva is such an exalted sage, so very knowledgeable, written so many Vedas, when he is bewildered, he is approaching his spiritual master.
Spiritual master.
So we also have to approach our spiritual master in all our further progress. So that is very important thing. And then, as said, all the Vedas, it is covering 4 Purusharthas we discussed already. So on the point from Sloka 7, Janatyaga Viplava. So all the Acharyas, Guru, they are all so merciful, compassionate that they are always looking how these conditioned souls to be liberated from this material entanglement and go back to Krishna by engaging in devotional service. So that was missing. So the personal realization application for us also is, we should not focus too much on these 4 Purusharthas. Rather, our religion, we learn from Canto 1, Chapter 2, 6. Savai pumsa parodharmo yato bhakti adokshaje. So the parma this one is to engage in devotional service and go back to Krishna. So this is what we learn from this, Prabhuji.
And very important point, that's why devotional service is also called Pancham Purushartha, that it is beyond all these given duties for mankind. It is the topmost duty actually, Parodharma. Thank you, Sadatushta Prabhuji, and all the devotees in group 3. And now we'll have last group 4, who will be presenting. Also, I see some devotee with the name Samsung SM. You can give your name, Prabhuji, Mataji, so we know who you are. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhuji, it's my name. Gunashri.
Gunashri Mataji. Okay, thank you. You can rename. So who will be presenting from group 4?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Murli Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, there was not much discussion, Prabhu. There was a lot of silence. Yeah,
yes.
I think everyone was working on their own. But
yes.
Venkat Narsareddy Prabhu has pointed out 2 major defects of the process, of which Narad Muni pointed out. Yeah, one was that insufficient glorification of the Lord, and then overemphasis on Purusharthas. These were the 2 defects which were brought out. Yeah, and then one of the things which we did mention was that when you are not satisfied with things, then you reach out to your masters to find out the root cause. You cannot go to any other person who does not have sufficient understanding of those things. That is something which is important for us to understand. Yeah, and yes, you are.
No,
yeah,
please,
basically,
please.
yeah. So basically, what it means is that your spiritual master or your guru, he's the one who knows what is the status. So that's where you have to go to find out the root cause of your problems, and from there you can work it out. Yes, and you go with a sense of humility, not with pride or any other mode. With humility and love, you go to your spiritual master. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Murli Prabhu.
I would like to add one point, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Whatever we do, if it does not give us transcendental bliss, it is futile. So what we do has to give us bliss for experience.
It should. So, to be honest, yes, bliss will definitely come through devotional service, but our goal should be Krishna's bliss. We derive bliss, that will be his mercy, but we try to give pleasure to Lord Krishna. that is a devotee's yearning. Just one point recently came out as part of the morning short Srimad Bhagavatam that we discussed. One Mataji was asking that she is a professor in a management school, and as part of her job, she also needs to refer to viewing some of the programs on the television to support her roles and responsibilities in her job. And we were discussing that how doing that is definitely needed for her to proficiently perform her duties. But at the same time, we should know very well that those type of engagements will add contamination. So we should also daily take our measures to clean up that contamination by associating with Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, so that we remain cleansed. Otherwise, gradually Maya will act in so subtle way that in the name of our day-to-day jobs, our day-to-day responsibilities, it will pull us away. It will pull us away from Lord Krishna. So we have to be very, very mindful of always associating with Krishna in the form of these spiritual literatures. So thank you, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Now we go back to the slide deck. 1 second. Oops. So we saw about Chitra Padam. We saw about Vayasam Tirtham. Vayasam Tirtham is the place of pilgrimage for the crows. Now, till now, Narad Muni has only been dealing about materialistic literature. But in text 12, so both in text 10, he is condemning any literature outside Krishna consciousness. And in text 12, he is also condemning the Vedic literature where pure devotional service is not the focus. So we will go through this verse and then again we come to text 11 purport. So please don't get confused. This grouping of the verses is based on the theme. So message still remains the same, but we will group 10 and 12 and then we cover the 11th purport. So 1 second. So here in text 12, we won't go through the detailed recitation and all. We can quickly check through the meaning. Narad Muni mentions that those literatures which are not materialistic and which are even talking about Naishkarmya, that means which are talking beyond the fruitive activities. Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. So even any literatures, Vedic literatures, which are talking about going beyond the fruitive activities, but which are achyuta bhava varjitam, which are devoid of the descriptions of Lord Achyuta, Supreme Personality of Godhead, na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. Knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient in nature, transient by nature, if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? So Narad Muni is saying that the literature which are materialistic are condemned definitely, which is easy to understand. But even those literature which are talking about self-realization, but which don't give a positive engagement in terms of Achyuta Bhava, in terms of remembering Lord Krishna, then wherever that is devoid of, then even those literatures are condemned. They are not very palatable to the devotees, even if they talk about self-realization but don't give a positive engagement in Krishna consciousness. And if that is the case, then what to speak of literatures which are talking about the fruitive activities, which are the focus of the Vedas, the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, which are painful to the living entities from very beginning till the end. So all these three type of literatures, materialistic one, Vedic one, which talk about fruitive activities, and even Vedic literatures which talk about Naishkarmya, which talk about self-realization, going beyond the fruitive activities and speculative knowledge, jnana and karma, but they don't give active engagement in Krishna consciousness. They are also useless. So all these three type of literatures, Narad Muni is condemning. Now, what are the literatures which the devotees relish? Which is what Ishwari Priya Mataji took us through. So now we will go through Srila Prabhupada's purport to text 11, which is a brilliant purpose, bit long, but very important. So we'll go through it part-wise. Is this text too small for Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Should I make it big? Is this good enough?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu, it is
yes.
good enough.
Okay. So now Srila Prabhupada is glorifying, basically coming back to this text 11, where we saw, even if the transcendental literature is grammatically, poetically, incorrectly composed, there are mistakes in each and every stanza, but as long as it is glorifying the name, form, qualities, pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So Srila Prabhupada mentions, it is a qualification of great thinkers to pick up the best even from the worst. So what was the comparison? What was the analogy we had seen in the earlier verses for devotees? Who are they compared with?
Crow and swan.
Yeah, so the materialists are compared to the crows and the devotees are compared to the swan, who like to stay in a very clean place, and swans are especially known for taking the essence. Sometimes devotees are also compared to the honeybees. Honeybees, they go from flower to flower to choose what is the best on offer for that particular flower without disturbing the flower. So they take the nectar without causing any disturbance or damage to the flower petals. So devotees are compared to these swans or the honeybees, who are after taking the essence from any particular thing, and we will see some of the examples. So Srila Prabhupada further mentions, it is said that the intelligent man should pick up nectar from a stalk of poison, should accept gold even from a filthy place, should accept a good and qualified wife even from an obscure family, and should accept a good lesson even from a man or from a teacher who comes from untouchables. So there are different examples, the analogies, comparisons that are given, how a devotee should always be saragrahi. Saragrahi means always seeking the essence. And I will give you some examples from Srila Prabhupada's own life, where even an ordinary person on the street who is not in control of his senses, he is offering some advice, or even intoxicated hippie sometime offering an advice. But if it was according to the principles, if it was useful for Srila Prabhupada's service to Lord Krishna, Prabhupada accepted it wholeheartedly. So first example we will see, it was before Srila Prabhupada went to West in from after Srila Prabhupada's sannyas till the time he was preparing himself before he traveled to the West in 1965 August. So Srila Prabhupada, we see in Leelamrit that he used to write the articles in Back to Godhead magazine, and it was a very simple magazine at that time, not really a magazine, but 4 to 5 pages of printouts stapled or basically put together, and he used to distribute it as a magazine. And one time when Srila Prabhupada was distributing in hot sun, a person at a tea stall sipping tea, who Srila Prabhupada approached with this 4 or 5 pager magazine, he advised Srila Prabhupada that, Swamiji, that you are working so hard to try to convey your message, but who will take these 4 or 5 pagers seriously? People will just go through it and will throw it anywhere after probably just scanning it, or not even scan through. But on the other hand, if you write your message in the form of printed, properly bound books, hardbound books, then people, it will last longer with the people, and they would have more opportunity to go through it even later. Like, imagine a 4 or 5 pager, how much ever nicely we try to keep it, the chances of it getting lost are very much. On the other hand, a proper, attractive, hardbound, solid book, it can stay much longer, and not only us, but anybody visiting our place can also refer to it later on. And Srila Prabhupada's realization was that it is not you, my dear sir, but it is my own spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, guiding me through you. So Srila Prabhupada immediately pondered over that, and he took it as a instruction from his own spiritual master to start publishing the books what he was writing the commentary for Srimad Bhagavatam and so on and so forth. So he took that task even before going to West, where he did not have many material resources. So Srila Prabhupada published Canto 1 in the form of 3 volumes, and he took that trunk full of Srimad Bhagavatam with him to the West. This is one example. Second example is when there was a temple opening in Germany. I don't specifically recollect a place, but everything was quite mismanaged and was quite a bit of a mess. But the devotees, it so happened that devotees were not very experienced, so they were not fully aware of what all ingredients are needed for the sacrifice that Prabhupada would be conducting and all the paraphernalia for temple opening. So when it was time for sacrifice, Prabhupada saw that everything else was arranged, the ghee, the firewood, and the samhita, the offering to the fire, but the fruits were missing. So Srila Prabhupada asked, where are the fruits? And somehow devotees thought that Prabhupada want to have fruits, wants to eat fruits. So what did they do is they brought the fruits, they cut the fruits and brought it in the form of a plate. And Srila Prabhupada got really furious. So he expected devotees to know basics of the fire sacrifice, and he thought devotees should understand these fruits are needed for the sacrifice. Like some of them are offered in the sacrifice, like many of you have seen, bananas are offered along with various forms of seeds during the initiation sacrifice. And some of the fruits are then subsequently distributed to the devotee guest as the prasadam. So then Prabhupada asked for whole fruits, not the cut fruits. And then seeing Srila Prabhupada angry with the devotees, a hippie who had also joined that particular temple opening ceremony, there were media present and all, and devotees were very stressed that they are putting a very wrong impression for the outside world by their mistakes. So this particular hippie from the crowd immediately came near Srila Prabhupada and told, Srila Prabhupada, don't be angry, just chant Hare Krishna and be peaceful, be happy. So this was Srila Prabhupada's own instruction, and Srila Prabhupada did not chastise the hippie that I know what to do, you don't teach me. Srila Prabhupada immediately took the beads of that same hippie and started chanting on those beads. So point is, an advanced devotee, great thinker, he is able to take the essence even from the most disturbing circumstances. He is always saragrahi. Saragrahi means always seeking the essence. Any questions on this particular part, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? All right. We'll go through the next part. These are some of the ethical instructions for everyone in every place without exception. But a saint is far above the level of an ordinary man. He is always absorbed in glorifying the Supreme Lord, because by broadcasting the holy name and fame of the Supreme Lord, the polluted atmosphere of the world will change. And as a result of propagating the transcendental literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, people will become sane in their transactions. So we see the example of personality like Narada Muni himself, who is left, right, and center going through all places. Each and every time, basically is leveraging upon the curse that was given to him by Daksha, that he won't be able to stay in one particular place, but would constantly be traveling. So he took the positive use of that curse in the form of constantly preaching about Supreme Lord to all the fallen conditioned souls in different universes. So these type of saintly persons, they are above the test of such ordinary men who sometimes get attracted to the worldly literatures. And then Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain in his purport how the systematic propaganda is needed to, sorry, 1 second. Let me go to some part. Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada in his purport is giving the, probably this purport is written around 1962 because Srila Prabhupada is talking about Sino-Indian War, the war that happened between China and India back in 1962. He says that for long generations enough, these two countries have been staying as friendly neighbors. But now, why suddenly the war is happening? Because earlier the God consciousness was present in both societies to a great degree, and now it is depleting. So as a result of which the quarrels are happening even on the most trivial of the issues. Why Prabhupada calls it trivial? Because he says that these two countries are fighting for a land which is not very suitable for human habitation. Like even when we saw the photos of the Galwan Heights and the area where the recent confrontation took place few years back, we see that it is not a very habited, human inhabited place, or a place where there is any land fertility. Nothing practically grows, but still there is a fight because God consciousness is lacking. This is due to not to the issue in question, but to the polluted atmosphere of this age. Systematically, there is a propaganda by a section of people to stop glorification of the name and fame of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, there is a greater need for disseminating the message of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. And subsequently, Prabhupada points out to how Indians, especially because we inherit the Vedic wisdom, it is our responsibility to understand this Vedic wisdom, the Vedic literatures properly, and put our efforts to spread them all over the world. And if we don't do that, then the backlash of the material energy of the Lord, the Maya Shakti, what it will be there for the Western countries, India will face the backlash even more than the Western countries. Why? Because sometimes we see the question coming from people that Western countries, there are so many impious activities, sinful activities going, but material prosperity wise, we see they are still prospering quite a lot. But India, although it has been Sone ki chidiya, it has been so opulent traditionally, but we are in scarcity of so many things despite having Vedic culture. Why? Because we are not attentive to following that Vedic culture. The punishment that material nature meted out to India would any time will be higher compared to the Western world. So it is our responsibility to spread this message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Srila Prabhupada subsequently explains in the purport that this type of message, even if there are any imperfection, he says what to speak of imperfection, even if those who we are preaching to, they don't understand the language we speak, still that is not a limitation. He gives the example, just like when there is a fire in a house, or another example, some other places Prabhupada also gives, is just like a person is drowning. When he cries out for help, it is not needed that the lifeguard or the person on the shore who can help, he needs to know the language. He would immediately be able to pick up that the person is drowning and is in immediate need of help. Or the person who has got house on fire, when he's shouting for help, it is not required for the firefighter to know the language. He would immediately be able to assess that the person's life is in danger. So language is not a barrier when we try to save other person by giving Krishna consciousness. And then subsequently, Prabhupada mentioned that when there is too much of a propaganda of the materialistic activities in the form of magazines, in the form of materialistic literature, then it is very likelihood that there will be friction and fights and misunderstandings between the groups of people, between communities, between nations, so on and so forth. And even at the slightest provocation, there will be huge fight and quarrel. There are so many unwanted literatures full of materialistic ideas of sense gratification. In many countries, there are bodies appointed by the state to detect and censor obscene literature. This means that neither the government nor the responsible leaders of the public want such literature. Yet it is in the marketplace because people want it for sense gratification. The people in general want to read, that is the natural instinct. But because their minds are polluted, they want such literature. So here Bhagavatam is telling us how it is by our nature that we like to understand about new things, we like to gain knowledge, because even soul is as a part and parcel of Krishna, Satchit Ananda. It is always, it wants to be blissful, it wants to gain knowledge. But if we don't have a proper channel to gain knowledge, we would invariably attracted to such polluted source of knowledge like the materialistic literatures or the websites. And Prabhupada mentions that there are so many websites and the literatures who take advantage of people's this mentality by offering them substance which is very, very degraded, which will cause their further degradation of the people. And government does have a good intention to protect the public from it by trying to block such websites, by trying to ban such literatures. But invariably, such type of websites and the literature which has attraction for the degradation of the people, they get access to by people. Why? Because it is their natural mentality of the people to seek knowledge. And if we don't give them something higher to satisfy that mentality, people will get attracted to such degrading stuff. And on the other hand, the literature, the transcendental literature, reading it may not be that attractive for a materialistic man. Like I recollect the first course book I had gone through was Science of Self-Discovery. It was a 6-session course during the college time. And though I felt great respect for the devotees who were visiting the college and could trust them that they intend good for me, when I actually started reading the book, The Science of Self-Discovery, then I was having great difficulty even in understanding the basics of the soul that were given. Or when I first time started going through Bhagavad Gita, it was quite difficult to grasp it in first go, like the science of soul, because of so many layers of contamination that we have been having on our own mind, on our own self. So as a result, Prabhupada says that just like a person having jaundice, the sugar candy, the medicine would be very bitter, not palatable to such a person. But if we continue to take the medicine, gradually the test will resume. For Hare Krishna, sorry, 1 second. Oops. Gradually the test would resume. So any question, comment on this particular part, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, that Hare Krishna. Comparison of 3 types of literatures which are condemned by Narad Muni. One is the materialistic literature. Second is the literature for self-realization, which is devoid of Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, which is devoid of Achyuta Bhava. And third type of literature is which are talking about basically the karma and jnana, the Vedic literature, which are talking either about fruitive activities or even about speculative knowledge. So all these 3 types of literatures are condemned, and against those, the descriptions about the pastimes, about the glorification of the Lord, even if they are not poetic, they sound boresome, they sound bit tedious to go through initially. One should try to pursue through them so that one develops Achyuta Bhava, one develops taste in understanding about the Lord. So we'll take a pause here. Yes, so link and all we will post later, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. About how his writings are in fact going to cause more harm than benefit the Vedic literatures to the conditioned souls if we don't present the clean and pure glorification, exclusive glorification of the Lord. Let me quickly go through the purport of text 12. So basically, Srila Prabhupada is also mentioning that the literature talking about fruitive activities, it is only helpful if ultimately the goal is given as Krishna consciousness. So as a stepping stone to devotional service, then it can probably still be considered. But on its own, it is not of any worth. And Srila Prabhupada uses a very strong language. He mentions then when it is engaged for sense gratification of the living entities, then it becomes a source of trouble. It becomes an acute source of trouble. The literatures which are propagating the fruitive activities, they are very, very risky, especially the Karma Kanda portion. And Prabhupada also gives the example in the same purport about Lord Buddha, that this problem became so acute during the time of Lord Buddha that the Lord himself needed to take a charge to remove people's faith from the common man's faith in the Vedic literature so that they can be driven away from this mentality of utilizing the Vedic injunctions for their own sense gratification. Hare Krishna. Shall we proceed, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Basically the theme is still the same. We have not changed it. And now we almost next 3 verses, Narad Muni will conclude his assessment and will start giving the workaround, the mitigation for this particular problem of Vyasadeva. So let's go through this particular verse, 13th, 14th. Hare Krishna. Any devotee would like to recite through the verse? Namita Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
13th text. Atho Mahabhaga Bhavana Mogadrik.
Atho Mahabhaga Bhavana Mogadrik.
Shuchi Shava Satyarato Drita Vrataha.
Shuchi
Guru Kramasya Khila Bandha Muktaye.
Guru Kramasya Khila Bandha
Samadhinano Smarata Dvicheshtitam.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful recitation. Translation
by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada teaching. O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is faultless. You are firm in vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus you can think of the pastimes of the Lord in trance for the liberation of the people in general from all material bondage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here Narada Muni is encouraging Vyasadeva that my dear Vyasadeva, my dear student, please don't feel discouraged because all the assessment that I gave you, that what you have inadvertently, you are sort of encouraging people in their materialistic way of life rather than taking them out of it. Now he is encouraging Vyasadeva by explaining his good qualities by which he can still come out of this. So which are these good qualities? Srila Vyasadeva, he has got a perfect vision. His fame is spotless. He is very firm and determined in his Wow. So let's go through some part of Srila Prabhupada's purport on this. Yeah, Namita Mataji, you want to go through part of this purport, highlighted part?
Yes, Prabhuji, sure. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada teaching. People in general have a taste for literatures by instinct. They want to hear and read from the authorities something about the unknown, but their taste is exploited by unfortunate literatures, which are full of subject matter for satisfaction of the material senses. Such literatures contain different kinds of mundane poems and philosophical speculations, more or less under the influence of Maya, ending in sense gratification. These literatures, although worthless in the true sense of the term, are variously decorated to attract the attention of the less intelligent men. Thus, the attracted living entities are more and more entangled in material bondage without hope of liberation for thousands and thousands of generations. Sri Narada Rishi, being the best amongst the Vaishnavas, is compassionate toward such unfortunate victims of worthless literatures, and thus he advises Sri Vyasadeva to compose transcendental literature which is not only attractive but can also actually be liberation from all kinds of bondage. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. The fallen souls are very eager to receive novel informations every day, and the transcendentalists like Vyasadeva or Narada can supply such eager people in general with unlimited news from the spiritual world. So we'll try to reflect a bit on this unlimited news from the spiritual world. So sometimes we think that this material world has got many varieties for sense enjoyment, but spiritual life is sort of repetitive or same thing. So one time, one of my devotee friends from Pune, he was recently sharing his parents saying that कि क्या आप लोगों के क्लास में चैंटिंग हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र के बारे में वही कंक्लूजन बताया जाता है that in all of your discussions, ISKCON sessions, we hear about chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So sometimes people feel that they already know and there is nothing novel, but which is definitely not the fact. Our acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada and Narada Muni and Srila Vyasadeva, they have so many details to be shared with us, but our capacity to understand is limited. That's why we have discussed this earlier as well. This particular Srimad Bhagavatam we have, which looks quite exhaustive to us to go through. It is one of the smallest Srimad Bhagavatam in terms of its scope, because it contains a brief summary of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in this particular day of Brahma, and even those pastimes are not covered exhaustively. Like, to give you some idea of this, one or two examples I'll give. It is mentioned by the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that if we were to give complete activities of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not through his lifetime, but what activities Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed even in one particular day, normal day of the earth, Ananta Shesh with its thousands of mouth would not be able to cover it even in a very, very long period of time, many thousands and thousands of years. What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what all activities he performed in one particular day, the lessons from it, applications for us, and so on and so forth. He won't be able to finish. So spiritual varieties as such are unlimited. It is up to us how much we can relish them, how much we have developed taste for them. I'll give one more example. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, he started 2 fortnightly magazines. And he himself was basically writing articles, and subsequently Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also recommended Srila Prabhupada's writing Srila Prabhupada was that time known as Abhay Charan, Abhay Babu. Abhay Babu's writings also to be published in these magazines. So one time, one person came to ask Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that, "Dear sir, I have heard that you have started these two magazines on Krishna consciousness, but do you really have sufficient material to publish each issue of this magazine every fortnight with set of articles?" And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's reply to this person was very emphatic. He mentioned that what to speak of every fortnight, we can publish a magazine on what is happening in the spiritual world every minute, but simply we don't have resources in terms of people editing and a printing press be able to publish it every minute and be able to distribute it to people at that fast a speed. But material wise, I can even write articles on updates from the spiritual world where it is called as unlimited news from the spiritual world every minute, what to speak of a fortnight. So that much updates are always happening. So it is not the spiritual world that is stagnant or that is static or boring. It is the material world which is truly speaking chewing the chewed, which is really a stagnant and boring stuff. But spiritual world is ever new variety. It is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Every moment, a devotee who is truly relishing it, his happiness, his relish is increasing. And one more example on this is one time devotees saw Srila Prabhupada deeply meditating, deeply in thought. And after a while, when Srila Prabhupada was talking to them, devotees asked Prabhupada, "What were you thinking, Srila Prabhupada?" And Srila Prabhupada said, "I was thinking today what particular delicacy Mother Yashoda has given Krishna in his tiffin box when he's going out to herd the cows with the cowherd boys." So that is the meditation of a devotee, because it is explained in spiritual world, the varieties of prasadam that Srimati Radharani cooks for Lord Krishna, not a single preparation is ever repeated. That means whatever is cooked today has never been cooked earlier, and whatever will be cooked tomorrow would again never have been cooked anytime earlier. So that is what we are missing by the spiritual when we talk about spiritual variety. In material world, how much ever nice foodstuffs we may try to cook for Lord Krishna, ultimately our skill, our knowledge, culinary skills, they are limited to what Lord Krishna has offered us. But in spiritual world, that limitation is not there. Everything is supremely transcendental. There is unlimited number of varieties, unlimited number of delicacies. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's on this particular topic of unlimited news from the spiritual world? So variety is unlimited in spiritual world, but it's repetitive stuff in material world, not the other way around.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You
Hare
were telling,
Krishna.
sorry, Prabhu, in what you said about Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Prabhupada had access to data from spiritual world, right? Is that the
Yes.
understanding?
Yes, yes. So that was the statement by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati himself, that what to speak of fortnight, I can write articles for the magazine to publish it for every minute. That much information and updates are available. But
Sure.
our resources are limited here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And Reena Mataji has also shared the title of one of the magazines, Sajjana Toshini, and there was one more. So, and the issues for some of these writings, for just for all of your spiritual interest to share, there is one very nice library that is maintained by ISKCON in Calcutta called as Bhakti Vedanta Research Library, or you can search on Google. Ananda Vilas Prabhu or Aishwarya Mataji, you know by any chance what is the title of? I had read an article on this particular library a while ago, few days back. So in that library, ISKCON has shared writings first-hand writings of some of our acharyas. And by writings, I don't mean the printed ones. Printed ones are also there, like Sajjana Toshini, the magazines, some of the issues and all. But handwritten notes by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur are also available in that library. And one of the composition, not one, quite a few of the compositions of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, including Bhakti Vinod Thakur composing the Gaura Arti, which we sing every evening in the temple, Kiba Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande. That composition is written by pen, the writings of Bhakti Vinod Thakur in terms of pen and paper. They are also available in that particular library. So we can see Gaur Arti written as a physical writing by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So sometime if devotees get a chance, we can definitely plan to visit. There are many places of interest in Calcutta, including places related to Srila Prabhupada's own life, his birthplace, place where he used to reside when he was young, where family used to take him to Radha Govinda temple every day, and the place where Srila Prabhupada made Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and this particular library also that I mentioned. So and by visiting this, our faith deeply increases, and our test also hopefully to relish and study this further. There are thousands and thousands of literary men all over the world, and they have created many thousands of literary works for the information of people in general for thousands and thousands of years. Unfortunately, none of them have brought peace and tranquility on the earth. This is due to a spiritual vacuum in those literatures. So many of the big libraries of today, if we visit, say for example, here in Singapore, apparently it is the largest library in the whole Asia. It is huge, like 7 huge floors and vast varieties of books present. And in all those literatures, 99.9999% what we will find is the writings which are not related to advancing in Krishna consciousness. So all these literatures are not good for the upliftment of the world. In fact, there is also one emphatic statement by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He mentions that theoretically, you consider that every available literature on this earthly planet is lost. For example, Newton's laws of motion, they get lost. Einstein's various theories and the postulates and all other writings, they get lost. Everything other that we are currently referring to for various branches of science, all those literatures, writings get lost. But only if Srimad Bhagavatam remains, still there is no loss. Still the world can recover, not only recover, it can flourish if it refers to this particular literature. So point is that for our own survival and sustenance in this material world, apparently we may have a feeling that I need to refer to this branch of knowledge, that branch of knowledge. In the current circumstance, it may be true to an extent, but in the absolute sense, do we need all that to survive on the earthly planet? The answer is no. If we have only and only Srimad Bhagavatam, that itself can be sufficient. I'll give one last example and then we proceed to the next topic. There is one devotee, Mataji, in ISKCON congregation. She is disciple of His Holiness Gopala Krishna Goswami Maharaj, residing in the Western world in US. What is Mataji's name? Ravi Gupta, Dr. Ravi Gupta's mother. Revati Raman Prabhu's mother. Can somebody search on Google? Ananda something Mataji, I forgot her name. Reena Mataji, can you search on Google? Revati Raman Prabhu, Dr. Ravi Gupta, who is a PhD from Oxford, his mom. She is such a brilliant devotee. What she did, Mataji taught both her children, both her sons, all the...
Anuradha Mataji.
Arudha Mataji.
Arudha, not Anuradha. Arudha Devi Dasi, Arudha Mataji, and she is also now part of ISKCON committee for children's education in Krishna consciousness and so on. So this particular Mataji, Arudha Devi, she homeschooled both her children just using Srimad Bhagavatam, and she taught the children about literature, about history, about grammar, about everything based on Srimad Bhagavatam. And both children went on to become such exemplary citizens. So her elder son is Dr. Ravi Gupta, and his initiated name is Revati Raman Prabhu, who is a PhD holder from Oxford and now placed at a very good high level position in the educational field. So the point we are trying to say is that this particular literature can give us every branch of knowledge which is required for our sustenance and flourishing in this material world. But we should have faith. And then Prabhupada is concluding by saying how such transcendental literatures, they cannot be composed by any Tom, Dick and Harry, how much ever materially qualified they may be. They can only be composed by persons who have completely realized the Lord through being submerged in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this particular portion of the purport I am referring to. So because of Srila Vyasadev's engagement in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Narad Muni is saying that this particular is the qualification, is the true qualification of the author to write Krishna conscious literature. Otherwise, even, and for this also example we don't want to take name here, but there are many scholars, including one of the first, I think second or third president of India, who has written a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, but that commentary is impersonalistic commentary. So person may be very highly qualified, but did that commentary bring about revolution in the society? Did anyone take up to devotional service based on that commentary? The answer is no. So only that person who has completely devoted himself or herself to service to Lord Krishna, they can only write Krishna conscious literatures. Nobody else can. So we proceed. Any questions, comments, Prabhujis? Let me know. Hare Krishna. Yes, so Aishwarya Subhadra Mataji has also mentioned that the library in Calcutta, that I was referring to, the Bhaktivedanta Research Library, we can share the exact name, but if you Google it, you will get it, because that is a very prominent library that is organized and maintained by ISKCON. It contains personal diaries of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, and many other writings by Acharyas. Yes, so we will put, yeah. So Aishwarya Mataji has given the name Bhaktivedanta Research Institute in Kolkata, West Bengal. That is the name of the library that is mentioned. This is for all. So my request is, whenever you have your next trip to Calcutta for any other purpose as well, or even for this particular purpose of visiting places of significance related to Srila Prabhupada's life and this particular institute, we can definitely plan to visit. Hare Krishna. And just for your info, all of your info, there are guided tours available to these various places in Calcutta by the ISKCON Calcutta temple. So it is quite easy for us if you want to plan. Next text. Whatever you desire to describe that is separate in vision from the Lord simply reacts with different forms, names, results to agitate the mind, as the wind agitates a boat which has no resting place. So basically, this and 15 we'll discuss together. In these verses, Narad Muni is indirectly telling Vyasadeva that these type of writings that you have presented, my dear Vyasadeva, it can cause more harm than any benefit, because people can get agitated by going in totally different direction of sense gratification. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So say, for example, tomorrow, I'm just giving a theoretical example, not to criticize anybody, but a leader of a particular nation, he or she happens to inadvertently, not even consciously, eat a particular foodstuff, say a chocolate, or drink any particular soft drink. We will find that hundreds and millions of people will spontaneously take to that particular substance. Why? Because yad yat acharati sreshthas. Similarly, recently we saw there was an incident few months back that one of a very famous sportsman, ex-Indian leading cricketer, he was traveling in a flight, and there happened to be a screenshot of this particular sports person playing a certain game on his tablet, and within 2 days there were 2.5 million downloads of that particular game, the software game, on the people's laptop and the mobiles. Why? Because people like to follow the influential persons. So Narad Muni is explaining that, my dear Vyasadeva, that if you write such things which will basically arouse and further aggravate people's mentality to enjoy materially, then obviously that type of writing, that type of initiative is condemned. And the word that is used is jugupsitam. This word is very important. Narad Muni is concluding his assessment of Vyasadev's contribution. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that how human life is so rare, and one of the very rare opportunities for the living entities going through the 8.4 million's life, the cycle, to get out of this material, the cycle of birth and death. But if this opportunity is lost by one mean or another, then it is a great loss. We cannot afford that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, where is the word Jugutsita? Which
text 15, 1-5, the first
text
word.
15.
Yeah. So the first word is
yes.
Jugupsitam, very condemned. So in the next part of the verses, now we would almost start from text 22 onwards. Narad Muni would basically, from this text till text 22, Narad Muni explains the importance of writing Krishna conscious literature and what is the effect of the association of such hearing from such literatures. Narad Muni starts explaining through his own example. So we will cover it as a separate section in the next session. But I had also planned a group activity as a concluding part. Let us see. Yes. So there is one very important purport. So maybe we cover one more verse and then we have this group activity and we conclude for today. Any devotee would like to recite this verse, text 16. Any devotees who have not spoken at all? Gita, Pradeep Mataji, Lalita Vinodini Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Vichakshano asyar, 1 minute. Vichakshano asyarhati veditum vibhor.
Vichakshano asyarhati veditum vibhor.
Ananta parasya nivritti nivritittaha sukham.
Ananta parasya nivrittitah sukham.
प्रवर्तमानस्य गुणैरनात्मनस् ततो भवान् दर्शय चेष्टितं विभो
Translation.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only a very expert personality, retired from the activities of material happiness, deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through description of transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord.
Thank you, Mataji. And for this particular verse, we will see some part of the purport which is related to the group activity. Gita Mataji, you want to read through the highlighted part?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
You can read from the
Yes.
beginning, Mataji. Theological.
Theological science is a difficult subject, especially when it deals with the transcendental nature of God. It is not a subject matter to be understood by persons who are too much attached to material activities. Only the very expert who have almost retired from materialistic activities by culture of spiritual knowledge can be admitted to the study of this great science. In the
Thank
Bhagavad,
yes, we'll take a pause. So this particular statement that only the very expert who have almost retired from materialistic activities, this part we had discussed some time ago, that being retired doesn't mean actually retired in our day-to-day activities or job, but retired in terms of not anymore trying to advance in material enjoyment. That is a very important qualification for a devotee who wants to take up devotional service. So here also we had quoted this verse last time. Nivrutta tarshair upagiya mana. So this trishna, this thirst for enjoyment, material enjoyment, one needs to be nivrutta, one needs to be retired from this particular thirst. Nivrutta tarshair upagiya mana. भवौषधश्रोत्र मनोभिरामात् क उत्तम श्लोक गुणानुवादात् पुमान् विरजेत विना पशुघ्नात्. That this particular retirement from worldly enjoyment is one of the very important qualification for one who wants to access bhava aushadhi, who wants to access the medicine for the worldly existence. So here as well, Shukadev Goswami is explaining, and sorry, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that only a very expert devotee who is retired from material enjoyment, they can come up with the various means by which they can gain spiritual knowledge and also spread this great science elsewhere. And this is again, this part you can read, Mataji, the text in blue.
okay, Prabhuji. The devotional service is dynamic activity, and expert devotees can find out component means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population.
Yes. The expert devotees can find out competent means. So this, coming back to this particular line in the purport, an expert devotee can find out competent means to inject devotional service. See the use of the word so emphatically Prabhupada is mentioning, to inject it into the dull brains of materialistic population. So we want to have a brainstorming session, a classroom discussion, that what all different means of spreading Krishna consciousness have you observed, which are very innovative ways by devotees to target a specific audience. So we can take a minute or two to think, and we would like all devotees to participate actively. Can you think of any innovative way of sharing Krishna consciousness which devotees have variedly used, which are probably not conventional? Hare Krishna. And devotees can raise their hands, whoever wants to contribute. Hare Krishna. Only one hand, surprising. There are so many wonderful initiatives of devotees giving Krishna consciousness in hundreds of different means. Like one example I have shown here on the screen. Devika Shetty Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think in hospital where acute diseases are there like cancer and all, people
Yes.
are very distressed. So by understanding the truth, especially about the absolute truth about soul and about Krishna, people can at least they can pacify them and know the truth about the life. And in case they're getting good treatment, they may survive or they may not go back to the Godhead. So in the hospital also we can do this Krishna conscious mission.
In fact, all of you will be pleasantly surprised to know that there are some devotee hospitals available. Thank you, Devika Mataji, for bringing this. Like, say, for example, we have Bhakti Vedanta Hospital in Mira Road in Mumbai, where the hospital is run by all devotee doctors. And basically, even the housekeeping staff in the hospital who does the cleaning, who maintain and everything, they also practice devotional service to a degree, maybe chanting 4 rounds, 8 rounds, so on. And where, as Mataji nicely mentioned, the deities of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Mai are brought in a rolling altar which has got the wheels in all the patients' room, so that patients get an opportunity to take darshan of the Lord. And those patients' relatives who are accompanying the patients, there are engagements for them, like Prabhupada's classes are held, like recorded classes, or even devotee sessions are held, or the food that is served to the patients is prasadam. So that means a person can not only heal in terms of the bodily diseases, but he can also get cured, even the outside people, in terms of taking up Krishna consciousness. So this is very important, and several initiatives related to this. Say, for example, we have Barsana Eye Camp, where yearly for 2 months, and now they are having a permanent hospital in Barsana. The Brajavasis and everybody who comes there, they are given free cataract surgeries, and hundreds and thousands of cataract surgeries are conducted with very minimal or almost free of cost, which are affordable for common people. Radhika Ratnanga Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think during COVID times, Prabhu, post-COVID and post-floods, a lot of ISKCON temples donated a lot of prasad to in and around India. So
Yes.
this is one. And also I had one doubt on your question, Prabhu. Are you talking specifically to what ISKCON did, or are you telling how we would rather, try alternate ways? So I didn't get your question.
Yeah. So maybe first we can go through what are the current ways devotees are leveraging upon across the world.
Which is already done by ISKCON, is that right?
Yes,
Prabhu?
yes, correct.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So Mataji mentioned about prasadam distribution, and I clearly remember some of the stats during COVID times. Here, most of the outside public is in anxiety to save their own life, protect their own life. But what devotees are anxious about, how we can share food, how we can give food to the needy, and millions of plates of prasadam are being distributed without expectation of a single penny. And not only this, one more example related in Ukraine, in Russia-Ukraine war, while nobody is sure about their own life, whether one will be living next day or not, devotees in various temples in Ukraine, including Kyiv and all, they have still actively been distributing prasadam to whatever means that are available. Till the time the temple resources are still running, they are actively distributing. So this is one way of distributing Krishna consciousness. Usha Kamat Mataji, any other means you have seen giving Krishna to others?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and to all. Prabhuji, where school children are targeted, and There are competitions held for them, shloka recitation, drama, fancy dress. There's a lot of interest and enthusiasm and involvement of school children in such events, Prabhuji.
Yes, so actually this particular topic is very close to Namanishta Prabhuji's heart as well. Conducting Gita-based courses, distributing Bhagavad Gitas to children at discounted rates, and also taking them through the various competitions. And these are also, this initiative is held from ISKCON Mangalore side, as well as various other temples in their own places like Mumbai, Pune, and many remote places. So targeted book distribution courses for children. Any other? Murli Kari Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Prabhuji, these virtual sessions, Prabhuji, they are very. This is the. Of course, this is a very recent one, no more than 4 years, but really it has brought a lot of blind people like me to faith. So I think this is one of the when living thousands of miles away, still connecting with so many of devotees is something which is totally unthought of so far.
Yes, very true. Like say, when 2020 COVID outburst happened, the Zoom numbers literally went through the cloud, the number of Zoom users. But it was Namanishta Prabhuji's brain and his submission to spiritual master's instruction that he decided with a very small group of people, devotees, to implement the online programs and took them to such great heights, reaching out to thousands and thousands of people across India, across age groups, across backgrounds. Not India, but overall, whole entire
across
world.
The world.
Across the world. Yes, Prabhuji. Any other thoughts? Ratna Gosai Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I agree with what Murli Prabhu has said. I was about to tell you the same thing because the COVID time, before we know there are certain centers like ISKCON centers and all where, but we exactly don't know what the activities were going inside. But because of the advent of social media during the COVID time and all, so once we have started enrolling for these classes and all, so the knowledge was easy to at our service, like we can know like how to starting from all the Vaishnava ethics to the contents through different people, the preachers. They have taken so much of a pain to upload their videos and the live telecast, all those things. And so the content was delivered to the most of the people. So many people got benefit out of it. And surprisingly, see, after being teaching, I'm in a hospital also. So people would rather come to a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness than go to a psychologist for their issues. So that was a plus point. I can say that the content has reached the majority of the population through the service. Yes.
Thank you, Manoj. And just for all of your info, some of the other means which you may or may not be aware, ISKCON also has ISKCON Tribal Care Trust, through which ISKCON has also been giving Krishna consciousness through people in one of the remotest of the places on earth, including the northeastern states, where basically the various tribes are living. And if we don't cater to them, if we don't attend to them, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, they can fall prey to many other propaganda, which is also happening in the modern day and time. So we don't want to name any other organizations, but there have been various organizations trying to influence people for conversions, etc., by offering them money, by offering them some temporary material benefits. But on the other hand, Krishna consciousness is not only protecting our culture, our tradition, but it is also enhancing their life in terms of having a change in paradigm. So Indian Tribal Care Trust, I mentioned. Hare Krishna TV, that is also one of the revolution. For those people who like to watch TV, Hare Krishna TV has given alternative to millions of souls across the planet. So that is also a revolutionary idea of devotees giving Krishna consciousness. There are so many cooking programs that are held. Even the great disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Yamuna Devi, she also wrote the book Krishna's Cuisine. So to teach devotional recipes of cooking bhoga for Lord Krishna. So coming back to this particular point, that devotional service is a dynamic activity, and by the grace of Lord Krishna, by the intelligence that is given by Krishna and all the previous acharyas, the expert devotees, they can always find out competent means to inject, to spread Krishna consciousness through various means, and some of this we saw just now. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can we say in conclusion that whatever be the physical means available and non-physical means, you can use all of them for promoting this activity.
Krishna consciousness, yes, correct.
Yes.
But just one thing I have seen typically Namanishta Prabhuji or senior devotees pressing through, that whichever means we are considering, contemplating for spreading Krishna consciousness, we should definitely have the permission, blessings of the devotees. And second thing, it should be sustainable. It cannot be that I want to start a program, today I start, then tomorrow I feel bored and I leave it midway through. That is not very appreciated. Whichever measures we are taking to spread Krishna consciousness, they should be sustained. They cannot be held temporarily and then just left on its own. Like for all of our information, Srila Prabhupada kept one condition for starting the temples, for starting the centers, that we can start the preaching center. However, it needs to be sustained. It can't be closed arbitrarily and aberrantly. So that is very important. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I am also taking classes to children, Prabhuji.
Very nice, nice.
Bhagavad Gita slokas recently, Prabhuji. Recently, I am taking classes.
Thank you, Mataji. And Prema Priya Jayashree Mataji has also mentioned preaching that goes on in prison houses. It's very important. Prison houses, old age homes, and for people who are mentally, physically challenged. And also, ISKCON also has something all of you should know called hospice. Hospice preaching means preaching to those who are at a very fag end of their life, people who are almost sure to be leaving their bodies soon, either due to old age, due to some disease, etc. So the terminal care is given to such people so that they can, as much as possible, try and remember Krishna at the end of their life. This is also being organized. Rasa Ragini Radhika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, what is that term, Prabhu? What is it called?
Hospice. HOSPICE.
No, at the end of life preaching, that is called?
Terminal care.
Terminal care, sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah. Hospice preaching, you can Google also. So in Vrindavan we have, and quite a few places also, ISKCON has the hospice. Here also in Singapore, we do have that program. Okay, so thank you all very much, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Krishna willing, hopefully the next session will be the last session for this particular chapter, and we will be able to conclude it with Narad Muni's own glorious life, which is very, very inspiring for all of us. So another exciting episode coming. And this particular section, we are in the middle part of first canto. There are 3 sections. First part is the generic questions by sages of Naimisharanya related to, first 6 questions, and based on answers to the first 6 questions, subsequent about history, etc. Second important part as part of the history is Narad Muni's instruction to Vyasadeva, which talks about glorification, specifically about Krishna Katha, writing Krishna Katha, referring to Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha. And third section will come, which will be the birth and activities and glorious end of Maharaj Parikshit. So that will form the conclusion of Canto 1.
Will you, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, will you put this up on the slide deck?
Sure. So, okay, Prabhuji, I will add.
Then you are concluded, I think. You have concluded this part of the...
Yeah. So I have put it here, Prabhuji, in the second slide. You can
yes.
Hare Krishna.
Guji,
So-
attendance link, Prabhu, for the day.
Attendance link, good question. 1 second. Hare Krishna. Where, yeah, Mamta, Mataji, so we can stop the live streaming. Then I have few announcement. 1 second, hold on.
Sure, Prabhu.